Hey everyone. For this one, I wanted to walk through something that quietly trips up a lot of e-commerce teams, which is that you can have product pages that look completely fine, structured data that validates, and pages that rank fine in your organic results. But you can still be failing merchant-centered verification with price and availability mismatches. And the reason comes down to a detail that most people never think about, which is that Google doesn't run one crawler over your product pages. It does run two, and they follow opposite rules. One of them renders JavaScript, and the other one flat out does not. In terms of where this comes from, this isn't me guessing at it. At Search Central Live in Zurich back in December, a Google engineer confirmed that the shopping crawler does not wait for JavaScript rendered structured data. And the reason is basically speed. The shopping side of Google needs price and availability to stay close to real time. So it crawls a lot and it crawls fast. And sitting around waiting for JavaScript to execute just doesn't fit that job. And the part worth holding on to is that this isn't even new. It was already in the documentation about 14 months before that talk. So this is settled policy you can act on today rather than some rumor you're keeping an eye on. Now, the core of it is really the split itself. So when it comes to the two crawlers, Googlebot for search will render your JavaScript. So it queues the page, executes the code, and then reads whatever schema you injected, even if all of that is happening client side. The shopping crawler does the opposite, where it reads only the HTML your server returns, and it never runs the JavaScript at all. So same page, opposite rules. And the reason for the difference is just that the shopping crawler can't afford the weight that the search rendering queue can. As far as what the crawler actually pulls off the page, it's primarily looking at your price, your availability, condition, your product JSON LD, and it reads all of that straight out of the raw HTML response. It uses those for two things: to run automatic item updates and to confirm that what's in your feed matches what's actually on the live page. And here's where it bites you, because if your page is client-side rendered, none of those values are in the server response. They get injected after the load. So the crawler ends up reading a placeholder or nothing at all, and it logs that as a mismatch. This is the part that catches even casual teams, so I want to spend a second on it. The rich results test runs the page's JavaScript, and when you inspect a page in DevTools, you're looking at the rendered DOM, which also has the JavaScript already applied. So your client-side JSON LD shows up clean in both of those. Everything validates, and you walk away thinking you're fine. But the crawler that's actually gating your shopping listings never executed any of that code. So it's really seeing a completely different version of the page than your tools are showing you. And to make it more confusing, that same markup can still earn you organic rich results in search, because Googlebot's rendering queue does eventually get to it. So search looks healthy while shopping is quietly breaking. And when it comes to what actually decides whether you pass, really comes down to one thing, and that's when or what is in the initial server response. And I want to be clear that the framework itself isn't the villain here. Plenty of single page app stacks are totally fine. If you're using server-side rendering or pre-rendering, so the price and the JSON LD are baked into the HTML the server sends, you pass. If you're doing pure client-side rendering, where all that gets injected after the page loads, you fail. And you fail even when your feed is perfectly valid, because the crawler is checking the page itself and not just taking the feed's word for it. So the practical thing to do is just taking about 10 seconds to stop validating in any tool that runs JavaScript. So open the product page. You can view source with Control U and search the raw HTML for the price and for the product JSON LD. If they're sitting right in the response, then you're in good shape. If they're not, then the shopping crawler can't see them either. And it genuinely doesn't matter how clean your feed is. So the next time you're chasing a batch of price or availability mismatches on a site where the feed is correct, check the server response, because a lot of the time what looks like a feed problem is really a rendering problem wearing a costume. So that's the whole thing. If you've run into this on your own stores, or you've got a fix that's worked for you, drop it in the comments and I will catch you in the next one.